Good evening. Today is International Women's Day with the theme Women and Men United to End Violence Against Women and Girls. It's one thing to say these words and another to actually see it has an effect on society, particularly men who are the perpetrators of violence against women. Tonight in the studio we have Shamima Ali for the Fiji Women's Crisis Center and Elizabeth Cox from Uniform Pacific. Welcome to the show. Elizabeth, first question to you. Women rights in Fiji. Are women adequately protected legally in this country?
Well, I think one only has to read the newspaper every day. One also in our field of work, we are regularly meeting with women, talking with women. In particular, we're concerned with the work that's being done on addressing violence against women. And I must say that it's of great concern and very alarming that the statistics, the newspaper stories, the incidents, the cases that present at the crisis centre certainly indicate that women are not being adequately protected. The law doesn't seem to come into force in many cases. There are cases of many different kinds, and I think Shamim will be able to expand on the nature of those cases. But reading the newspaper, we recently opened the newspaper on Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is promoting an ideal of romance, but every other page was full of acts of violence against women of all different ages. So I would say definitely the answer is no. There's not an adequate protection in society at the moment for women to be free from violence.
Shamima, you would agree with that, obviously?
Oh, definitely. And the Crisis Center, this is 25 years. In August, we would have existed for 25 years. And it's a real uphill struggle every day. We have made achievements. We've managed to get the no-drop policy against violence within the home, within the police force from 1995 onwards. And we've got that. We've got sexual offences unit. We've got the police trained on gender, on violence against women, all kinds of things. Those are achievements. But we can have the best laws in the country, but the implementation level is the problem. And one of the main reasons is that people have a very little understanding in all sectors of society about gender-based violence and why it happens. And often the woman is to be blamed. So, while we can have the best laws, if the people who are actually going to implement the laws and respond to survivors of violence and any kind of thing, discrimination in the workplace, sexual harassment, women's economic development, the lack of resources and so on for women, women's poverty, then people have to be aware of exactly what are the root causes of it. And for us, we see patriarchy and gender inequality for the discrimination, for the violence that women suffer from.
Elizabeth, you mentioned the laws may not be protecting women at this point in time. As a UN body, have you raised this with anybody in authority?
Well, this is one of the core mandates of UNIFEM, and in fact the whole of the United Nations. It's the responsibility of all United Nations agencies to address the problem of gender inequality and discrimination against women. And the United Nations, as you know, one of their key mechanisms for working with governments to ensure the protection of all of their citizens is the Human Rights Conventions, and there is a special convention for women, which is the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination against Women. And more recently, governments have committed to the achievement of the Millennium Development Goals by 2015. And these are two commitments to gender equality. Gender equality meaning that you strengthen your laws to protect women, and that you provide all of the machinery that needs to be in place in your justice system, your police forces, but you also finance the services that women need when they are subjected to violence. And then these are what the government needs to do as a part of as a state party to the Convention on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women. And if they have a genuine commitment to the Millennium Development Goals, it's fundamental really to the achievement of all the goals that gender equality is addressed, violence